negative all the time. I don't know. I feel like it always depends on my mood. What about you, EJ?
Hmm. I guess it depends on like what happened earlier that
What
day.
happened
Like,
prior to?
like how your morning started, or I would say even like how your day, the day before ended. I feel like it has like kind of like an effect on the next day for me. Like if I had like a great day like yesterday, I come into like like the new day, even if there's problems, I'm just like, don't worry, we'll figure it out. But if I've had like a bad day, a bad morning, let's say, like I was making my coffee, I was making my coffee, I dropped the spoon, went to pick it up, spilled my coffee. Like if that's the morning I've had, even if there's like good news, I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like that's sort of like my so I guess it also depends for me. It depends on if it's like already kind of like midday or evening. If I've
Mm,
had like a
time
good
of the day.
morning or not. Yeah, yeah. Like what kind of day is it?
So, depending on how the events have unfolded of the day, it can make it
Yes.
more challenging to see the positive versus the negative. Yeah. I feel like what
Mhm.
you just described is like when you wake up in the morning and you feel like everything is going wrong because you woke up late and then your car wouldn't start and then you
I
forgot
had one
like
of
your
those the
shoes.
other day.
Yeah,
Oh
it's kind
no,
of like
the
that,
other
right?
day. No, yesterday I had one of those yesterday where like I woke up late because I had an appointment like in the morning. I woke up late. Uh, woke up late and I was about to shower. I was like, where did I put where did I put my razor? I was like, where did I put my razor? Because I needed to shave. And I was just like, what? I'm running out of time. I'm not gonna shave anymore. I had a stubble. We were driving and like our arrival time like on the GPS was like 1 minute before my appointment.
Oh
So I was
no,
already stressing out.
the
And
actual
then
worst.
like after months of like just seeing like just seeing what do you call us, the yellow orange like cones like on the road, and kind of just like months of seeing that, and like yesterday was the day they decided to start building stuff. So
It was there for a long time, and then all of a
yeah,
sudden, like,
yeah, yeah, they just decided, what, today we're gonna
today's the
start on
day.
this. So so now they have to enforce like kind of like that slow, like it slows
Yeah,
down. So it's
yeah.
just
I
like,
feel like we've all
why?
had those days. We've all had those days where
Mhm.
it's just like all you can see is literally just the negative things. Like you feel like you're running all the red lights. You feel like
Mhm.
you're running into every door or everything that you set out to do. You're kind of just like, what is happening?
Like
And
your
I
sleeve
feel
catches on a door, doorknob.
yeah, you're already mad. Like let's say you're upset at something and then like something like yanks at you or your
Mhm.
clothes gets caught in the door somewhere or like you slam the door on your yeah. We've all
Mhm.
had days like that and I feel like that's a good illustration of what seeing the negative looks like. But what about seeing the positive? Have you had the opposite of that, like a day where positive things just kept happening to you? Like, oh, why is all these things happening? Like somebody got you food, or just like surprise
Mhm.
you with different things, or someone was like extra nicer to you than usual. And you're like, what?
Yeah, I've had this. Okay, well, the one that kind of like stands out to me. It's not the latest one. It's not the latest one that's happened. But when you were asking me that, like it kind of like popped into my mind that this day where, okay, I think I've mentioned this before, but like uh, one of my work experiences in the past was like having like I had a coworker who would like he would go on break every like 15 minutes, and it would stress me out so much, and that went on for weeks. But this day, like I just knew it was gonna be a good day because I already waked up. Like I woke up feeling refreshed, took a shower, felt even more refreshed, and like my mom took me breakfast. It was like it's like because usually I wake up before her, but like this day, like she woke up before me because I work like really early. She woke up before me and she cooked me breakfast, and I was like, no, like today is a good day. Then I got to work. My manager like pulls me aside. He's like, I'm transferring you to like a different workstation where like I was able to work like at my own pace without having to wait, for someone to come back just so I can get my work started again. Like I was like, today is a good day. So even if like I even if like like the latter half of that day wasn't that great, like I still kind of came in that they would like what, today's a good day. Like not like one of those days where you're like nothing can ruin this day today. Or in terms like percentage, there's already more good like that happened today.
Hmm. I feel like even just specific events too, right? Like you could have a lot like the slur of things that are, well, I won't say unfortunate, let's say inconvenient.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of things that are inconvenient, like, oh, like I wish that didn't happen. But then there's that one event that kind of takes over everything, like whether it's like a call from your friend or a surprise, visit from somebody, or just like running into somebody that you didn't expect. And then that becomes a thing that you think about the whole day. And it seems like everything else just kind of disappears. Everything that you
Yeah.
were really stressed about, everything you're like, "Ah, that was a really good encounter. Like that was a really good conversation. I'm glad that that happened." Yeah?
Mhm. Yeah, like
Yeah.
okay, this one I will give you a shout out for this one. Like how I got like for me, I would say I got used to not like really celebrating like my birthday. I get like I forgot which age I kind of like stopped celebrating like my birthday. Where it's just like
Oh.
I just kind of okay, like I still have a celebration, but just like kind of like a small like celebration, and I kind of
Mhm.
don't expect people to remember like my birthday. Okay, so I'm giving you a shout out for this because like I remember I didn't know why a couple days back you asked me for my address, and then like I heard
Oh.
like the doorbell, and it's just like it was like not sponsored. It was like a DoorDash. It's like KFC, a KFC like family bucket. I was just like, I was just like, what? Today's like a good day. I don't usually celebrate my birthday, but I'll celebrate it today.
Yeah. Food always is a good way to get
Mhm,
back into a positive mood, I feel like. But it's simple things like that, right?
mhm,
And the reason kind of why this topic came to mind for me is because I've kind of seen it on social media where there are posts that I feel like take the extreme of both things. Like there are some
mhm,
people where they talk about toxic positivity and how it's just like, oh, ignoring the bad is like a bad thing, but then you have people who are just like very deeply in the bad. I'm like, this is very um
mhm.
what's the word that I can use for it? It seems like hopeless, and it just
Yeah.
seems too extreme. So I kind of wanted to pick your brain and those who are there in the live chat about this too, because I like being positive and being able to choose how we see situations, when circumstances happen. Um,
Mhm.
but would you say that there's any time that being able to see the bad is uh I guess beneficial? Because I feel like one of the things that um, I'm trying to work on is being able to, let's say I'm assessing a project that I'm doing, right? If I
Mhm.
see only all the good things that I'm doing in, in that project, but I don't see where I can improve on, right? And not to make it, a super negative thing, but being able to see that alternate side. Do you think, how do you, I guess, see that in your own life, EJ, when it comes to
I mean,
balancing the positive and negative things that you see?
okay.
Focus.
I think it's a good thing to be like aware of like the bad. And I'm not like that's like, and I'm using, I'm emphasizing being aware instead of like looking at like the bad. Like you're
Mm,
not necessarily looking at it, but you're aware that it's there. Like
mm,
you're aware that like yeah, like bad. Like there's bad things that happen today. Like you're
mhm.
aware that today's not a perfect day. You're aware that that something you're not looking forward to is like only a couple of days away or something, right?
Yeah.
You can be aware of those things, but you don't like. Let's say, okay, let's use that last one kind of like as an example of not letting it ruin, your kind of like your mood. You know, okay, let's say that something I'm not looking forward to is in like it's in 2 days. Like I'm gonna go get my checkup. I don't like injections, but I'm gonna have to get my blood drawn. You're not
Yeah.
really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But if you spend the next 2 days coming up, like uh 2 days coming up to that like day, just kind of sitting, sitting around, lacing around, and just kind of stressing out about I don't really want to go through with it. I don't want to do it. Like I know it's good for me. I know it's good to be aware of my health, but I don't really want to do it. Like you kind of wallow in that sort of mood for like the next 2 days. You basically wasted 2 days for maybe a couple hours of a couple hours, and I would say a couple seconds of like pain. That's 48 hours that you sort of just spent
Tortured yourself.
yeah, torturing yourself for like that small moment. It's not even
Yeah.
a full day. It's like a small moment of that day, right? And that's sort of like how I look at it. It's like if and that's not just something that applies to something like like in the future, but also something like that's already happened. Even more so if it's something that's already happened, right? Let's
Mhm.
say you have had like you're driving to work and someone cuts you off in traffic, and it annoys you, or it kind of give you like a mini heart attack.
Yeah.
You don't spend like and I've done this. I've spent like that has happened to me, and I've spent the entire day just kind of just like I almost got into an accident. I almost got into like the entire day. I was like I almost got into an accident, you know, and
It's a
like that
cycle. It
consumed. Yeah,
starts, yeah, it just
yeah,
repeats in your head
yeah. It
the
consumed my
whole.
whole day. It's something that's already done. It's already happened. I'm okay. Nothing happened to me, but like I was stuck like in that moment. So it's not just something that applies to something that maybe you already know that's gonna happen in the future, but also something that's already happened, in the past. Especially if
Mhm.
it's happened in the past, you gotta learn to let it go.
Yeah.
You gotta learn to let it go. You can still learn from it. You can still learn from it. Learn to be like, for my example, learn to be more alert, aware of like other drivers. You know,
Mhm.
but you don't let it kind of like dictate what your mood is gonna be for the next few days.
Yeah, I'm glad that you used awareness because I feel like there's always such um like a what's it called? Like a black and white kind of thing of just like, oh, you I feel like that's why some people, rag on they think that I feel like that's how toxic positivity like came to
Mhm.
be a huge thing in social media is because people think that being positive is ignoring the negative, but it's really not. Like when I
Mhm.
when I think about the positive people that I have in my life, like let's say like my mom, whenever let's say we're in the car or we're traveling somewhere and something happens like earlier, I got detoured like a bunch of times like trying to head somewhere, but she'll make a joke out of it. She'll make a joke out of it or she'll point out something else where so it's like it's not necessarily like when we're being positive people, which we try to be as Christians, right? And like in every
Mhm.
situation, we're always trying to find our way around it. It's not that we're ignoring what the negative is. We are aware that it's there, but it's that idea of not staying in it, right? Like
Mhm.
you're not staying in it. I'm guilty of that. Like the whole idea of like rumination, like what you just talked about earlier, where you just repeat it over and over and over. It's like a
Your
scene,
head.
it's a movie scene in your head. You're like, I wish I didn't do that. Like, why did that happen? You start asking all these questions. And then, but it doesn't always have to be that heavy handed, or it doesn't always have to be that serious, especially like when it comes to what you mentioned earlier, like if you fail the test, that
Yeah.
does suck. Like being able to tell yourself and focus on those feelings, how it feels sometimes, you feel it, right? But then
Mhm.
being able to move from that feeling too. So it's having that, I feel like that balance of both, but still letting the positivity like prevail as opposed to the negative side. Not
Mhm.
Not saying that you're ignoring that it's there at all.
Even I'd say even if you're in that bad situation, like let's say for you, you were in that situation where like you were being detoured, like left and right, like you're kind of
Crazy.
like
It
already
was
stressing out.
crazy.
Yeah,
It was
you're
crazy.
you're in that situation, right? Like it's like with what you said, it's not that we're ignoring that this bad is like it's happening, right? It's in a reverse of like what I was saying earlier. It's like you're also aware of like the good things, right? Like it might not be the best day. Like it might be more like this day might be than more bad than good. But then you kind of think of that. It's more bad than good. There's that good still, right?
Hmm.
On like in that even like I would say even in your worst days like I'd say even in my worst days where like I felt so sad that I wasn't able to hide it. I wasn't
Yeah.
able to hide it. Like it showed like on my face that I was just having a bad day. People
Mhm.
noticed. And that's the good in that. People noticed and people ask me, people try to cheer me up. Like even in your so I would say even in my worst days, there was still good in it. you know? So that's like I can't speak for everyone's experience, of course,
Yeah.
you know. But I would say that there are people who care about you. So even in your worst days where you feel like you can't really kind of like put a face on and try to smile, try to like be at your best. When it's like when the sadness is showing in your face, people will notice that, especially the people that care about you.
I feel like even
Yeah.
in media, there's things that kind of overwhelm me sometimes just because you
Mm-hmm.
see things that just pop up on your feed and you're like, wow, this is a lot to take in. And this is too much information that I don't know if I wanted to know
Mm-hmm.
all at the same time. You know what I mean? But then I kind of look I try to make a point to follow specific accounts and make those like priority on my timeline so that even though I'm aware that there are difficult things that are happening, I'm also reminded of these positive things too. And then also a step further on that, being able to take these different focuses. I feel like I had this conversation with one of my friends the other day. We were sending each other voice messages and I was explaining to her that there's some negative experiences that I've had, right? That I am aware
Mm-hmm.
of, that I now use to kind of motivate me or push me to do good things, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Like there are things that I've experienced that I don't want to happen to certain people that, I want to be able to help other people through, that kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
being able to know what to do, I guess, is what it is. Like, like with all the thoughts, like where where you focus your mind, like that is really what will grow. That's really
Mm-hmm.
what will come to fruition. So being able to identify like what's happening and what your situation is and navigating it and knowing, okay, this may suck right now, but let's be solution finders. Let's try to
Mm-hmm.
find a way to get out of it. Not that again, we're not ignoring the bad, but being
It's
able to
like
shift.
yeah, it's like being aware that it's like being aware that this is how I'm seeing the situation because like because this is how I'm feeling, right? This is how I'm
Yes.
seeing it because this is how I'm feeling. Now let's try to see it without like this emotion. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, like somebody like let's say I'm stressfully doing like my office work, and somebody comes up behind me, just like, and then they just kind of like start small talk. You're just like, not today, like not today. You can react like that, or you can see it as like, I've had like a bad morning. Sure, I can be mean to them, but let's try to see this situation without like this emotion. Like earlier today didn't happen, like I didn't spill
Right.
my coffee earlier, like let's try looking at it from that kind of perspective. I didn't have a bad morning, you know so you can kind of face that coworker and go like, I'm sorry, I'm like really having like a bad day today. I really gotta get
Hmm.
like to my right instead of just saying not today, not
Yeah.
today. You know, you know, like it's being aware of like being aware that you want to react a certain way, because of like how how you're feeling because of maybe what happened, earlier this morning, what you're not looking forward to, what happened in the past. Like it's being aware of that and kind of like, and it's a habit you have to build. Like kind of stopping yourself for a moment before you react and going like, okay, like let's try to look at this without like emotions. What's the reality of like this situation? Why are they talking to me? They just small talk.
I feel like that's even true, especially when it comes to ourselves, EJ, because
Hmm.
um this is something I feel like we've had a dialogue on a lot in the past, is that inner critic, right? um
Mhm.
Even bringing it to that idea of how you focus on yourself, like how do you see yourself in positive and negative ways? Are you only seeing the negative, or do you also see the positive about yourself, and then vice versa? Are you only seeing the positive about yourself and not the negative? I mean, gotta you gotta be aware of those things, and
Mhm.
then I think, to speak to what you were saying, the action that you take after that, it should be in the positive direction, right? It should be something that's
Mhm.
like towards your betterment. That's something that you're not going to regret, like what you were saying, that situation of two ways that you can kind of respond. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's interesting. I feel like this is something that has been in my orbit for a while. This idea of, I was just thinking, I didn't want to specifically talk about like toxic positivity, but just
Mhm.
that idea of positive and negative focus, how they can both be beneficial in ways. But I think you nailed it with the right word in saying that it's really awareness of what is happening, and
Mhm.
then what are you going to do about what's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, like what's the reality of it? And that doesn't just
Yeah.
apply to like say like bad situations. Even with like I would say it also applies with like good situations because like sometimes when you're so happy that you're not reading the signs that
Yeah.
something might be dangerous. Like
Like,
when you're
I don't know if this is a good
yeah,
idea.
like you're seeing like kind of like you're seeing the people you're with kind of just like like they're kind of looking over their shoulders. They're like okay, I feel like like in this happened before to me where like the people they were sort of like reacting to something because apparently someone was shouting to someone like in the background and me being happy they're just like like they'll work it out. But who knows? like I probably should have kind of like moved away from like that area, you know because it did end up being worse. Like I
Oh
might have gotten
no,
caught in it,
EJ.
but I was just like, it's fine because I was having a good day. I was like, it's fine. They're gonna work it out. Like, the people I was with, they're reacting. Like someone was actually like grabbing me in the arm. They were kind of pulling me. I was like, no, it's okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's just a little
Yeah.
misunderstandings. Like so it doesn't just apply to like when you're having a bad day, but also when you're having a good
When you have
day.
a good day,
So
yeah.
my point is like being aware of like what the reality of a situation is without what you're feeling right now.
Yeah. Awareness, I think, is the takeaway from today's topic. But unfortunately, we do have to cut it off there. But thank you to everyone who's been tuning in with us. If you're just tuning in, feel free to rewatch the show. You got, I guess, 20 something minutes from us today. So hope to see you all again same time next week for a chat line. This has been Tony and EJ. We're signing off. Take care, everyone. Go be positive. Positivity.
Don't underestimate
The power
of a single
conversation.
it
it
could
could
change
change
your
your
whole
whole
life.
life.
INCRadio Chatline.
Conversations that matter.
Every beat tells a story. And in business, every move matters. Tune in, level up. This is Business Beat. Every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. only at INC Radio.
Sama-sama tayong humanga, matuwa
Walang angry. Walang magalit.
at maglakbay sa ganda ng Caraga. Dahil kung ang hanap ninyo ay adventure and fun, masayang usapan at kwentuhan,